November 26th, the 3 cards revealed for, wait, what? Only 3 cards. Whatever, there's a playlist in the top right if you want to check out the other Kobolds and Catacombs cards. First up we have fal'dorei Strider, 4 mana 4/4 epic for row with the battle cry shuffle 3 ambushed into your deck. When you draw, summon a 4/4 spider, and then you draw another card too. So this is Beneath the Grounds, except it's a minion and it shuffles into your deck, not your opponent's. There were a lot of fun game styles you could play with Beneath the Grounds. Probably the best use for the card was Fatigue Rogue because it added value to your board as you Cold Light Oracled your opponent into oblivion. But there's not really a lot of ways you can control how many cards your opponent draws, and that's why fal'dorei Strider is a lot better. 1 more mana gets you 4/4 stats to start with, and you always have more control over drawing cards from your own deck. Still, this card is slow. The time it takes to get its value is dependent on how far you are through your deck, how much draw you put in, and how lucky your draw is. Playing this on turn 4 means you'll still have around 20 cards in your deck when you add 3 ambushed, so it's likely going to take a few draws before you get another 4/4 out there on the board. Luckily, Miracle Rogue with Gadgets and Auctioneer does a fine job drawing cards quickly. I don't see a problem running 1 or 2 fal'dorei Striders in this deck to take advantage of the card draw and get some 4/4s. Still, from a design standpoint, I feel like it's kind of losing what made Beneath the Ground special, shuffling ambush cards into your opponent's deck. I understand to make the card playable and bring it up to today's card standards, you have to make the card better, but kind of the magic of the card was your opponent drawing ambush and giving you a 4/4. It made your opponent reconsider whenever they drew cards because they might have to deal with a 4/4. It's really a unique experience in Hearthstone when your opponent doesn't want to draw cards and you want them to. So I think fal'dorei Strider will see play in drawing decks like Miracle Rogue, and it also could be thrown into any slower rogue decks people are trying out. Even though it's great value and not terrible stats, I don't think it's fast enough to work in Tempo Rogue because that's a pretty fast deck. I'm glad Ambush is coming back. It's not going to be the same, but it's actually going to be playable. Next up is Hungry Eden. Eaton? I'm not sure. 6 mana 4/10 rare neutral with Taunt and Battle Cry, summon a random 2 cost for your opponent. So like I compared yesterday's card to, Hungry Eden is very similar to Hungry Dragon. There's the different stats, but it's summoning 2 drops that make this card a lot more interesting. Pyros, Patient Assassin, Succubus, Dirty Rat, Doomsayer, Millhouse, Stubborn Gastropod, Lorewalker, Cho. There are a lot of wacky 2-drops. Sometimes these 2-drops are going to work for you, sometimes it's going to mess you up, and sometimes it just messes up everyone. Eden is not as good as Hungry Dragon in terms of stats. It's only +2 more from being an evenly statted minion, meaning a 6 mana 6/6, but the 4/10 distribution of the card might be a promising stat line that can really stay on the board a long time and protect your face. But in a way, you kind of want the card to be bad, because the RNG of spawning a minion is fun when it comes every so often, but if every deck ran this card, a meta of spawning 2-drops would get annoying quickly. Last we have Voidlord, 9 mana 3/9 epic demon for Warlock with Taunt and Death Rattle, summon 3 1/3 demons with Taunt. Wow. Well, people were asking for Warlock cards, and I've been asking for a viable demon deck, and Voidlord is what we get. So, kind of cool math. The stat line of all 3/1 demons add up to Voidlord's 3/9 stats. So you're looking at, in total, 9 mana 6/18 if everything goes to plan. That's okay, but the distribution of these stats as a 3-attack minion and 3 1-attack minions doesn't mean they're going to do much damage in trades, but their taunt is sure going to be annoying. This is a really good face-protecting card. Not only does your opponent have to get through a 3/9, but now they have to get rid of 3 1/3s. Now of course you can argue that, well, what if it just gets silenced, or a board clear wipes out the 3 1/3s? Well, your opponent might do that, but that's just another resource they're expending to deal with this minion. Still, you're right, for 9 mana, the 3/9 stats are really dependent on its Death Rattle. Now, using Carnivorous Cube for Voidlord would be crazy value, but I think the ideal deck for this card is a non-duplicate Demon Lock. It's one of the decks that I want to work in Hearthstone. It's pretty good in Wild with Reno, but a key card from the deck is Cruel the Unshackled, which summons all demons from your hand. Not only does it negate the harming battle cries, but for Voidlord, it gets it on the board without having to pay. One thing about Voidlord that doesn't really synergize in Demon Lock is you don't really want Bloodreaver Gul'dan's battle cry to resummon 1/3 demons. But you're honestly just better off playing Bloodreaver on turn 10 if you have it, regardless of how many demons have died, because the hero power is that good. In some cases, those 1/3s will help the battle cry fill the board and get you value, but if you get Gul'dan in the late game, they have the chance to hurt the battle cry value. Voidlord is not the strongest 9-draw, but it's super control oriented, and I think its demon synergy is the key to fitting into a deck. Well, those have been today's cards. It was a little bit of a short one, but we'll be back tomorrow with more. Feel free to subscribe if you want to hear my opinions as more cards come out, but until then, ta-ta!